Hey, it's Kane Hodder, better known as Jason from Friday the 13th. You are listening to the Boys Podcast. Keep listening, or I'll kill you.
Take your best shot. Motherfucker.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Boys Podcast. Today is a very special episode as I'm joined by one of my favorite actors and stuntman. He is an actor, stuntman, and author. You have seen him as Jason Voorhees in parts 7, 8, 9, and X, and Victor Crowley in the Hatchet franchise, and many more. So welcome the legend himself, my best friend, Mr. Kane Hodder. Welcome, Kane.
Hey, Joe, thank you. Good to be on with you.
Yeah. It's an honor having you on, for like a Halloween special icon interview, So thank you. Awesome.
Very good. I'm going to Lexington next weekend for the Scare Fest, they call it.
Okay.
And I'll be there with my buddy Robert England. So it'll be a fun weekend.
That's cool. That's awesome. Freddie and Jason at it again, right? Awesome. Yeah. So what have you been up to? Like, how are you doing, Kane? How's Kane doing?
Good. I mean, I told you before when we were talking that I had a heart attack back in November. So it's coming up on a year now, and haven't had any more issues. So that part is good. I have some leg pain from the medications that I'm on, but other than that, everything is good. And I, of course, do all kinds of conventions, and the two that I have upcoming, like I said, Scarefest in Lexington, and then the weekend after that, I have something called La Mole in Mexico City. I'll be there with, let's see, who else is going to be there? I can't think, but somebody else from horror is going to be in Mexico City. I'll be there for Halloween, so that's good. I finished a film last month in LA called The Activated Man, and I had quite a few scenes and worked a lot with my buddy Tony Todd. So it's Tony and myself and a lot of other very, very capable, talented actors. So watch for that. It'll be a little while because they just finished shooting, so won't be out for a little while, but called The Activated Man. Very interesting script and kind of a little bit of a different character for me. So it was a lot of fun. And you also know, Joe, that I've been doing motion capture for another video game. I did the Friday the 13th video game that is out, and the same company asked me to do a second video game, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I'm doing the motion capture for Leatherface in that one. So
that's sick.
Things have been pretty busy.
Busy but good, That's awesome. Awesome. That's really cool. Now, if I remember correctly, isn't Tony Todd also the Candyman?
Yes, he is Candyman, and I violently murdered him as well in one of the Hatchet movies. I have in the Hatchet movies as Victor Crowley, I have killed actors that are known for these characters. Candyman, Freddie, he was in the first one, Robert. I've killed Jason in the Hatchet movies. Derek Mears, who's the most recent Jason. I've killed Michael Myers, Tyler Mane, and a number of other ones. But, I don't know how many other actors could say that they have murdered on film, as many actors that are known for other horror characters that I've done. So I feel very fortunate to have killed all those people.
I like you said, like in your documentary, like I think you like the most kills ever, like in movies and like oh, it's crazy. Like you get the most of all time.
I think so. I mean, I don't think there's another actor that could say that they've killed as many people. I always say murdered because if you kill 25 people with an automatic weapon, that's different. Mine are one at a time murders.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's another actor that can say they've killed that many. 55 as Jason,
That's
55 separate murders, and 62 as Victor. So,
That's-
I mean, come on. Most actors end up playing a variety of roles, not just murdering psychopaths like myself.
it's crazy. Like that's like a record that, in my opinion, a record that can't be broken. It's amazing.
I hope so.
Wow.
I mean, because at least I can say that I don't think there's going to be anyone that ever played Jason as many times as me. I mean, they'd have to do another 3 movies and use the same person who's already played the character to tie it. So I feel very lucky that way that, you know, John Beekler, the makeup effects expert and director, is the single reason that I played Jason in the first place. He was convinced I should do it and had to bust his ass convincing Paramount that I should be the person because they didn't know me. Nobody did. You know, I was a stunt guy. But Beekler just somehow had it in his mind that this is the guy that's going to really play the character. And, you know, turned out he was right. I wish he had lived longer to enjoy his success, but, you know, we all miss him.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay. Wow. Now, what made you want to become an actor and stuntman? Who do you say is your biggest inspiration for acting and doing stunt work? Sure.
Well, you know, when I first got into the film business, I just wanted to do stunts. I never anticipated doing dialogue in a movie. Maybe, you know, 1 or 2 lines before the star of the movie kicks my ass in a fight scene, something like that. But to actually play characters with significant dialogue and stuff, I just never anticipated that. So I never trained for it. I just did everything I could to be as good as I could possibly be with stunts. And if I had a successful career as a stunt person, that's all I dreamed of. I just wanted to make a living doing something I loved. And, you know, then of course you play a character like Jason and you get some kind of notoriety, then people, filmmakers, are saying, how do we get people to notice our film? Well, one way is to put a recognizable name in your film. So, you know, once you play a character like Jason, people start knowing your name a little bit, and it kind of helps you get offered acting parts, because I don't think I've ever auditioned for an acting part. I've just been offered it because of my background and my experience. So I never really had to do the auditioning thing, because you don't audition for stunts either. Someone knows that you're capable of doing a stunt, and the stunt coordinator hires you to do it. So there's no auditioning with that either. But I just, I loved the idea of getting paid well for things I used to do for free to entertain my friends. You know, so people would always say when I was in high school, you should be a stuntman. I'm like, yeah, that's a pipe dream. That's too far off. But, you know, sure enough, I pursued it, and took a long time, as you know, Joe, but Started working, started making a living, and it all fell in from there.
Oh, it's crazy too. Like in your documentary, you mentioned like how, I don't know if you remember, like you like were like on the railing and you were trying to fool your friends, like they were freaking out. That was funny. That part and that how you that was hilarious.
I know, it just that's the one example I always use where I say I used to do dangerous stuff for free, just to scare my friends and entertain myself, because they thought I was going to die if I slipped, and I thought it was hilarious that they were that nervous. So once you start doing that stuff and get paid well for it, it's just a bonus, man.
Yeah, it's like a win-win,
Yep.
It's awesome. Or what was really funny in your documentary too was when you like scared a cop. Oh, when you scared a cop when a cop was checking this, what that was funny. Don't if you remember that.
Yeah, that was. I didn't know he was a cop. Coming to visit the set on Part 7 in Alabama, and he asked me something so stupid on the trail, just me and him, middle of the night, going in between the set and base camp. And he asked me if I was with the movie, and I'm in full makeup with the hockey mask on at the time. Mm-hmm. Am I with the movie? Really? You're going to ask me that question? So that's when I scared him, and he took off, and we found out he was a local cop coming to visit. And Beekler says, "Oh, yeah, the cop never showed up." I said, "Oh, no idea. I didn't kill him. May have scared him, but I didn't kill him."
That was funny. Like, oh, your document. Like, everybody check that out though. To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story. I highly recommend it because it's really amazing. So.
Yeah, it's not the typical story, I guess, with the serious injury and all the stuff that has come after that. Like you already know, there's a lot of personal stuff in the documentary, and sometimes when you're talking about it, you're not sure if you want to tell that part, because you might think, oh, I have an image of being a bad guy, and if I tell a story that makes me sound weaker, is that the right thing to do? And ultimately, I just said, well, it's my story, so I'm going to tell it. Whether it makes me sound weaker or not, it's my story. Anybody that has a story to tell everything. That's my feeling, because the audience has responded more to the tough personal stuff than to the career stuff, actually. So, it's very gratifying to know that.
I really liked it though, Kane. Like, I would 10 out of 10. I really liked it. Great
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem. You're welcome. Now, what is your?
Uh-oh. 1 second.
You're all good. You're all good.
My wife is just pulling the car in, so.
You're all good. Susan? Is that her name?
Just 1 second. I had to do this out in the garage, Joe. Sorry.
You're fine. Is that Susan? If I'm correctly?
Just doing the interview. Okay, no problem, Joe. Let's.
Hey, Susan. I just want to be nice. Hey, hey, Miss Hodder.
Yeah. Joe just said hello. Hello. She said hello.
That's really cool. Wow. So sorry. I Kane. You're like you understand. Like you're like I look up to you. You're really cool. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm honored whenever anybody feels like that, and if they've enjoyed things in my career, I feel very fortunate.
That's awesome. You're very humble, Kane. So.
Oh, I'm the shit, Joe. Don't forget that. I know where you live, remember.
Now, Kane, what is your favorite acting role you portrayed? Your favorite?
I mean, of course, Jason and Victor they'll always be at the top because, Jason put me on the map, and Victor was my character from the beginning, so I didn't have to consider anyone else's performance previous. So those two will always be up there. But in the last few years, I've done a lot of acting roles that I never thought I would have the opportunity to do. Like the activated man that I was talking about with Tony Todd, I had the most dialogue I've ever had in a movie.
Ooh,
and
okay, that's
it was challenging. And then I have a movie called 13 Fanboy that people could check out. I play myself in it, being stalked by a kind of a Jason fan that goes to extremes with his fanaticism. So I have a very emotional scene in that. After Lexington and before Mexico City, I have to go to Philly for the premiere of another movie I did with Bill Moseley called Hayride to Hell. And it's a really interesting story because it's about a hayride attraction, like what I used to do when I first started being known in horror. I used to go to a place called Spooky World, and it was in Berlin, Mass. And it was a farm that had a hayride. And I used to go there every October because that was my first experience signing autographs and stuff with fans. And this movie is very similar to what we used to do there. So Moseley has a hayride, and I am a sheriff in the area, and he and I don't get along too well. So it's an interesting story, and I love working with Moseley because he's a brilliant actor, first of all, but more than that, he is the kind of guy, and I enjoy this, that will ad lib during a scene. He'll start talking about something that was never in the script just because it pops into his mind. And sometimes that'll throw people off and they'll not like it because it's not what we're supposed to talk about. But like there was a movie I did with him called Old 37.
Okay.
And he and I play brothers that run a junkyard, and we have an ambulance that we drive around and pick up people and do horrible things to them. But the local cop came to visit our junkyard. I'll try and make this quick, but
you're fine.
And within the scene that's scripted, Moseley said, the cop says, anybody else here in the junkyard? And Moseley's line was, nobody here but us chickens. And then that was it. We do another take, and Moseley says, no, nobody here but us chickens. And he looks at me and says, show him the chicken dance, dumbass. And I started dancing around like a chicken, and he's laughing his ass off because he's humiliating me in front of the cop. And it was brilliant because in one movement in the scene, you feel sympathy for me because I'm kind of the bullied guy of the two brothers, and you dislike him more. And it was not even in the script. So, Moseley and I have done quite a few films together now, and it's always a pleasure.
You said Activation Man, if I remember correctly?
The Activated Man.
The Activated Man, I'm sorry. Is that like a horror movie? A horror movie that's going to be out? Or?
No.
No?
It's impossible to describe quickly. So I just want people to for it. And I think the director said he was very, very happy with with the performance and stuff. And considering I had so much dialogue, I wasn't sure, because again, I've never been trained as an actor. So if I have any kind of talent acting wise, it's just from watching really good actors work. And over my stunt career, I've had so many opportunities to sit and observe an amazing actor work and just see how they prepare and stuff like that. Best training you could have. And the one scene that pops into mind is the movie Monster, where Charlize Theron won an Oscar. And I watched her, because I was a stunt coordinator, I watched her prepare and perform for 2 months, and invaluable training.
Oh. If you wouldn't mind now, before I ask you the next question, can you do the Jason? The thing you came up with. I'm talking about. I can't do it, but I can't do it.
I don't know if it looks the same, Joe, when I'm wearing my hoodie and stuff. Nah, it won't be the same. But it's just inflating the chest without doing this. So many people will dress up as Jason. They'll do the breathing thing that I came up with, and they'll always go. I said, no, that's not what I did. I did no shoulders. So
that's really cool. That's a cool thing. Like I like how you portrayed your Jason. Your Jason's like, my opinion, the best Jason. So
you get me doing the breathing thing, I'm gonna go kill somebody. Hey, get out of here. Oh.
Now, can you walk me through how did you get the role of Jason and Victor? Can you walk me through how you got those roles?
Yeah, like I kind of alluded to before, John Buechler.
Yep.
I had done a movie with him called Prison.
Okay.
Rennie Harlan directed it. I was the stunt coordinator. And Buechler asked me while we were on the set of that movie in Wyoming if I've ever worn full body prosthetics. And I hadn't really at the time. I had done a couple minor creature suits, but never like a human rotted corpse, basically. So I had 3.5 hours of makeup on my face, a full body suit, and I only worked, I think, 2 days as the character called Forsyth. If you ever see the movie Prison, I'm strapped to an electric chair because I was executed, and I come out of the ground and, go after people. But based on that performance, John Buechler was hired that following year to direct Friday the 13th, Part 7. And from the moment he was hired, he said he started talking about me playing Jason. And again, like I said before, nobody knew who I was. So he had to really convince them that, because I think CJ did a good job in Part 6.
Graham.
So if it hadn't been for Buechler pushing for me, I think CJ would have played the part again.
Oh.
But I had Buechler on my side, kept pushing, finally convinced them that I should play the character. And that was 1988. I did Part 7, and for about 10 months, because I played the character once, I started signing autograph things.
That's cool.
And I used to, in between finishing Part 7 and until I got the word that I was going to play the character again in Jason Takes Manhattan, in between that time, I used to sign my name and put Jason number 7 because I was one of 7 guys.
Yeah.
When I got the job the following year to play the part again, I dropped the number 7 and didn't put that anymore. But so if you ever see that autograph somewhere, it's far more
rare,
common.
It's rare.
Yeah. And then, I do the 4 Friday movies, and now I've got a pretty good following and stuff. So Adam Green invents this new character, Victor Crowley, Hatchet Films, and I had known him a little bit just from meeting at conventions and stuff, and he said, I want you to play my character. So that's how that all started. And we went on again, 3.5 hours of makeup again every day. Gets old, man.
That's wow. Did you see that they have like now at Target the Victor Crowley figures now? Did you see that? Kane?
I think I've seen it once or twice at conventions. Yeah.
That's really cool. Like, it's so cool to see like your character, like Jason. Like, that must be like, oh my, you're like, oh my god, that's my character, you know? Like,
yeah. Oh, it's amazing, and even more amazing. Now they have, the pops, that the little square. Yeah, exactly. Pop like that right behind you. Mm-hmm. Now there's a Kane Hodder pop.
There is now?
I didn't even know. That's one thing to have a Jason pop, yeah. But a Kane, who the hell wants that?
I would buy that. I didn't know there's a Kane Hodder pop. What? There is?
Yeah. I think I have one in the cabinet over there, but yeah, I mean that's pretty flattering if you let yourself admit it, that somebody thinks you're well enough known
to be a pop,
to have a pop of yourself. Wow. Never would have thought that in a million years. Of course, I never expected to sign an autograph either, so all of it's very unexpected and appreciated.
You'll be. I'm sure you've probably signed this before. It would be a cool item for you to sign a machete. I'm assuming you probably signed machetes before, right?
I do, a lot, but recently in the past year or two, the fans have had a much harder time bringing machetes to the table because it's a weapon.
Yeah.
So a lot of conventions don't allow you to bring a real weapon into the show. Understandably, because somewhere, somehow, something could happen. So it's much more uncommon now. In fact, I was in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago at an event, and just south of Green Bay, and somebody brought something to my table that was all wrapped up and concealed. It was a machete, a real machete, but they had to make it look like something else so that they could get it into the show.
Wow.
And then I signed it, and then he wrapped it all back up so it looked like it wasn't a machete. And I mean, that's the signature weapon, man.
Yeah. Any like obscure stuff you ever had to sign? Like any like whoa, what the heck is that? I mean, never have any of those. I'm sure maybe you have.
I've signed a lot of crazy stuff in the past, and the one that still makes me kind of shake my head is, and it happens more and more lately, is when somebody asks me to sign their body.
Oh yeah, it's weird. I'm sorry.
And they tattoo it.
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird to me too. So I understand.
Yeah, and I have a friend in Germany who has a tattoo on her thigh, big, like this big, of my smiling face. It's one thing to have a character, but I'm like, why would you want my smiling face on you? And she told me some real personal stuff, so I was honored. Shotzi. That's my Shotzi.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I can't get your face on my leg. I'm sorry.
On your back, Joe. Your entire back with my face like this. People will think, oh, who's the psycho on your back? Yeah, well, it's my weird uncle.
You're funny, Kane, so thank you.
Shut your ass, Joe.
Favorite Friday the 13th film? What's your favorite?
Mine?
Yes, it's your favorite.
Pretty easy choice. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved playing the character every time they gave me the opportunity, but Part 7 will always be my favorite.
Yeah.
Not just because it was my first attempt, but for me as a horror fan, Jason looked the best in that movie, the makeup.
Oh.
And the scariest, and you have to remember I'm a stunt guy for 45 years. So I loved that movie because there were so many big stunts for me to do. You know, typically in a Friday movie, Jason doesn't do a lot of stunts. He does a lot of violent killing, but not much happens to him. But since Tina had the powers with her mind to make things happen, I thought it made it just an interesting story. And it was the timing of that movie, unfortunately, was with the censors was just terrible. Every single kill in the movie that I performed was cut down by the editing process to almost nothing. There were so many good makeup effects when I did all of the kills, and in order to get the R rating at that time, they had to cut every kill down so much that it's almost nothing. So that's the only frustrating thing, but I still love the movie.
Now, for the viewers at home, I think I already know the answer, but what's your favorite kill in the whole franchise? I think it's the sleeping bag kill, though, if I remember correctly.
It is my favorite Jason kill.
Okay.
Sleeping bag, followed closely by frozen head in Jason X, and then punching dude's head off in part 8.
That's my favorite, the punching the dude's head off.
But there's one kill that I am more amazed by, and it's in the first Hatchet movie where I grab the woman that's trying to run away from me, put my hands in her mouth, and rip her head apart. Man, that looks amazing. Yeah. One take, because it was such an involved makeup effect that we couldn't shoot it again. So we had one chance at it.
Yeah, see, my favorite kill in the Friday the 13th movies, though, like you said, it was the punching the guy's head off. That was crazy. Like, he thought he was gonna get you, you know what I mean? But one shot kill, you know.
And do you remember what he said right before it knocked his head off? Ah, trivia here.
I think he said, take your best shot, asshole, or something like that.
Ooh, very close.
Very close.
Asshole would be cursing. So what he said was, take your best shot, motherfucker. So that's not cursing, by the way. Asshole is horrible. Motherfucker, not bad.
That was so funny. Like, he thought he was gonna stop Jason. Like, why would you go up against Jason? You know what I mean? So
he thought he was a boxer, so you know.
Yeah. One shot kill, though. That was, I'm sorry, but that's like, everybody, if you haven't seen the Jason movies, you're missing out, you know. Wow.
They are fun.
Yeah. Wow. Now, would you be willing to come back and portray Jason Voorhees again if they asked you, Kane?
I would.
You would.
You already know, and a lot of people know, I was not ready to be replaced when I was. I was told I was doing Freddy versus Jason.
I remember.
By New Line Cinema. They gave me the script and said, we're doing this. Then they hired a director that wanted to change everything, and I was out. So that's more of the bitterness, not just because I was replaced, because everybody before me was replaced. So I can't bitch that I was replaced, but don't tell me I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's
and then replace me. That's far worse.
That's a bunch of fucking shit, you know? Like, why would they do that to you? Like, I understand.
But, you know, if there was another movie to come, it would be the 13th. Friday the 13th, which would be pretty amazing. Have me come back one more time just for old time's sake. And I would love to round out my career that way. Come back after how many years? What Jason X was like 2000 or something, 2001. So I've been Jason for 20 years.
That'd be perfect timing.
I would love the chance to do that.
Maybe I'll make my.
It'll ever happen? Probably not, but
yeah. I'll make my uncle make you be Jason again. Remember my uncle that maybe I told you, Joe Zito, he directed part 4. I'll make him direct you.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Your uncle has quite the career, because a lot of stunt people didn't. He directed something with Chuck Norris too.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Got it. Missing in action.
Yes, missing in action. And a lot of my stunt friends worked with him and loved him as a director. So, bring him back to direct me in the 13th film.
Yes, I'll tell him. That'd be awesome. That would be really cool. That'd be like
and I'll kill your ass in it.
I'll be the first kill.
Just because everybody dies, so.
Yeah.
That would be pretty amazing. Bring back an alumni from directing one of them too. That would be incredible.
That'd be a cool duo,
Yeah.
Awesome. Now this next section of the podcast is like a horror movie battles. Okay, you gotta tell me who would win. Okay, ready? Okay. Michael Myers versus Ghostface.
Michael.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play Michael too, by the way.
Ooh, I've
always loved that character. The same way I love Jason, always loved Michael. And I don't know if you ever saw a short that Adam Green did called Driving Lessons.
Didn't see that one yet, no. Sorry.
There was a scene from one of the Halloween movies where somebody says, well, how did Michael get from here to here? What, did he drive a car? So because of that scene being in one of the movies, Adam Green came up with a comedy short of me as Michael taking driving lessons. And with a driving instructor. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I'd say Michael would win that one. What's next?
Jason versus Leatherface.
See, that'd be a good battle.
That would be a good battle. I would like to see that movie. Sorry.
The same way that I wish I could do a Jason versus Michael movie and play both parts somehow. I don't know how that would work, but because that since I'm doing the video game as Leatherface and I stunt doubled R.A. Mihailov as Leatherface in part 3, I do have some Leatherface experience, but I give a slight edge to Jason just because Leatherface is more predictable, I think.
Oh, yeah. See that. I could see that. Now, Chucky versus Billy the Puppet.
That'd be hilarious to see, first of all, but Chucky is insane and bizarre. It makes me uncomfortable, so give him the edge for sure.
So you don't think Billy would set the traps? No? Is there any battles you think I'm missing then for the horror movie battles? Anything?
Well, I mean, you and I both know that Freddy is a bitch.
Yeah.
So if he battled anyone, he'd always appear to win, but would lose, in my opinion.
He'd go off against. Oh, I'm blanking. Sorry about that. He would go up against Victor Crowley. That'd be a cool matchup.
Wow. Freddy and Victor, or
Freddy versus Victor?
Yeah. Wow, that'd be interesting. And
Victor would win because Freddy's a.
And what shot did I do as Freddy?
You did. You were in Jason Goes to Hell. You were the Claw.
That's right.
Yes.
They told me somebody needs to climb underneath the set and appear to be underground and wear the Freddy glove and bring it up and grab the hockey mask. And I said, well, that's me for sure. I'm doing that scene no matter what anybody else thinks. I'm doing it. And it was more difficult than you would think, because when I had the glove built by the same guy that built Robert's gloves for his movies. So it was really accurate. And as I bring my hand up and grab the hockey mask and start pulling it underground, all the blades broke off the glove. The hockey mask broke into pieces. And you can't tell really because they cut away from it before it starts breaking up, but it ruined the glove and the mask.
Yeah, not many people should know that. A lot of people probably don't know that fact. You know that you were the glove. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
So Leatherface, Jason, and Freddy.
Who would you say is the ultimate champion then? Who would win them all? Like, who's the ultimate horror person? You know.
I got to give it to Jason.
Jason.
Yeah, I got to give it to Jason.
The legend himself, Jason Voorhees. Now, is there a role you would love to do? I think you kind of said you would love to do him, assuming Michael Myers, like a certain type of.
Between Michael and playing Jason one last time, those would be the dream roles for me. And probably not going to happen, I would think, but it would be something that would just finish off my career perfectly, I think.
That'd be awesome. Now, who would you say is the coolest person that you have worked with in your whole career? Who deserves the coolest person you worked with?
Many. I've been so fortunate working with, you know, actors. And when you do stunts, the actors appreciate your work because you're making them look good. If you're doing a fight scene or something, you're making the actor look good if you do a fight scene well. So, you know, I've done action stunt scenes with Brad Pitt, Will Smith, Charlize, of course, on Monster, you know, Gene Hackman, Goldberg. There's so many actors that I've worked with in the past that don't even pop into my mind right now, but you know, you enjoy watching an actor for years, and now suddenly you're doing a fight scene with that actor. That is cool as hell. You know, somebody you've enjoyed watching, and now you're working very closely with that person. It's just an amazing feeling. You know, Stallone. I did Demolition Man with Stallone and Snipes, and so many big action movies. Lethal Weapon 3, I think it was. I did, and you know, it's just one of the most exciting parts of being in the business is working with actors that you admire.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, if you didn't go into like acting or stunt work, what do you think you would have done as a career? What other interests and hobbies you besides stunts and acting?
Prison, probably.
Prison?
Yeah. Not the movie Prison.
Prison.
Because, you know, I failed to get my college degree.
Okay.
Because I dropped out after 3 semesters to pursue stunts, which worked out, fortunately, but had it not, I would have been screwed. No degree, no kind of training, nothing to fall back on. So it's a good thing I didn't give up the dream of doing stunts, but if I had it to do again, I would kind of play the other angle of, hey, just in case this doesn't do it, I'm going to get my degree and have some kind of something to fall back on if the stunts doesn't work out. So I was fortunate. I busted my ass, but I was also fortunate that it worked. And I wouldn't recommend doing it that way.
And do you have any hobbies? Like, do you write, draw, bike? Do you have any hobbies, Kane?
I play golf. I ride my bike all the time. I love, I live up in the mountains of Utah now, so I'm always hiking around, riding my bike, playing golf. I wish I skied because this is some of the best skiing you can find in the country, and I don't ski. So I do like to play poker also. I play in the World Series of poker. I have in the past. And I love playing in charity events because it benefits someone and it's a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Wow. Now, favorite band or artist and type of music? What kind of music do you like, Kane?
I've always been a heavy metal guy, Metallica, Rob Zombie, that kind of music. I've always loved that. But I also enjoy people like Twisted. And I was always a fan of ICP in the past. I know it seems unusual for someone like myself, but I love that kind of music. It's, and I went with Greg Nicotero from Walking Dead. He and I went to a Metallica show once in LA, and it was amazing because we were guests of Kirk, and we were right inside the stage, which was very cool. But, so that's mainly the kind of music I listen to. I also listen to very easy listening stuff like Chill.
Okay.
The XM station when I'm in the car because it keeps me less angry at people.
Because do you like rock and roll music at all? Like rock?
Oh, sure.
That's what I like. I love. I'm a big '80s music fan, actually, Kane, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yes. And I bet you my favorite band will shock you too. I bet you. Do you know who Queen is?
Yes, of course.
Like We Are Champions, We Are Rock. That's my favorite band of all time.
Brilliant singer, man.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury.
He was amazing.
Because I actually, believe it or not, besides actors, of course, I actually also interview musicians, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've interviewed, do you know who Ryan Roxy is? He's the guitarist with Alice Cooper. You probably know who Alice Cooper is. Right?
Vaguely, yeah.
Or I've interviewed Greg D'Angelo. He was the drummer for White Lion and Anthrax.
Uh-huh.
Curious. Okay. Thank you. Now, favorite movies and TV shows?
I was always a big Seinfeld guy.
Ooh, Seinfeld. Okay.
And I did do one episode, which was cool as hell because I was a big fan of the show, and then I got the opportunity to play a mugger on a bus, doing a fight scene with Kramer. So that was amazing because, again, when you're a fan of something and then you're working on it, just like with an actor.
Any other movies or TV shows you like?
Not really. I watch a lot of true crime stuff and just find it fascinating. But
not really. Wow. You look like do you like the movie at all? Back to the Future, Kane?
Sure, that was interesting.
See, I know a lot of '80s movies like Back to the Future, This Breakfast Club, Karate Kid. So.
Right. You're not old enough, man.
Well, my mom, the one you met, my mom, she raised me on that kind of stuff, so that's why.
Okay.
Favorite sports and teams? Remember I was telling you about this?
I love football, man, and I'm in a fantasy league with my sons, my nephews, my wife, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, two brother-in-laws, and then so I love watching football, and I never played it in high school because on the island we didn't have a football team, but I played basketball and baseball and stuff. But And I do enjoy watching baseball when it's late in the season, when it's more meaningful and stuff. So
Who's your favorite football team then?
I don't know if I have a favorite really. I enjoy the Rams and the Raiders. It was a tough game last night watching the Raiders not pull it out, but
Favorite food. What's your favorite food, Kane?
oh, favorite food. I'm a big sushi guy.
Sushi.
Never thought I would be when it started to become a thing. I was like, raw fish, gross. But of course, now we have it at least once a week, if not more. And I don't eat too much steak anymore because of the heart attack. I'm trying to keep a leaner diet because, I've always exercised my whole life and I've always had a good diet and I still had a heart attack. So that's how much the genetics factor is important. So there's only so much you can do about things that you were given by your father, for instance, like me. My dad had heart disease. He had 3 heart attacks.
Wow.
And never quit smoking and stuff. So he never did much to combat the heart disease, whereas I am doing that. So.
Wow. See, in 2012, I want to say, or extra, I forgot the year, but my mom had double bypass surgery. Believe it or not. So,
oh, wow.
So I understand the heart thing. I understand.
Did she have a heart attack or did she get it fixed earlier?
Her heart went to AFibs, I think they called it.
Oh, yeah.
So
wow.
It was really scary. So.
Yeah, I didn't have to do the bypass stuff, but they had to put a couple stents in my arteries, in my heart. And they access that through your wrist nowadays, which I didn't even know. Very easy recovery from that part of it. So I was only in the hospital for 2 days with the heart attack. So I guess it could have been much worse.
What advice would you give younger people who want to become an actor and stuntman? What is your advice?
Well, a few things. First of all, I would never try and talk somebody out of it because I have had an amazing career and unbelievable experiences. But I would say don't expect it to happen overnight. If you want to go for it, stunts, acting, go for it. But you can't expect it quickly because it probably won't happen quickly. But it is worth it in the end if you stick to it. So that's my biggest advice is to, if you're serious about doing it, stay with it and make it happen. So.
Okay. Honestly, I always add stay humble. Remember where you came from. You know what I mean, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a good rule of thumb for anyone, really.
Yeah.
Just because you become known for something and maybe start signing autographs, don't think you're a big shot.
Yeah.
Because people appreciate when you understand that you're fortunate, you worked hard, but you're fortunate that your career panned out like it did. So that's when I would always say for everybody, stay humble. Don't let your career or accomplishments make you a different person. And it happens a lot.
I like that advice a lot. And I've noticed a lot of, for you example, a lot of horror villain people are nice. I've noticed that. That's crazy,
Well, I've noticed it too. I mean, of all the people I've ever worked with, the nicest ones, the nicest actors are the ones that play the most horribly violent, nasty killers. Those are the nice actors. The ones that you want to love, like sometimes the comedians that you want to just love, turn out to be assholes. So I'm not sure why that would be, but that's my experience anyway.
Yeah. And before I ask you my next question, I want to show you this too. I forgot to show you. By the way, people, Kane is a very nice guy. This is a This is now my background picture, Kane, on my phone. So
That's a rare one, Joe. Remember that.
that's my favorite photo of all time I've ever had. So
I don't let people choke me very often, so keep
Thank-
that one.
yes, thank you so much again. People, if you ever meet Kane, the nicest person, in my opinion. So
Well, thank you very much for saying that.
you're welcome. And everybody, make sure to check out, like I said, his documentary before I ask my last one. Thank you. Sorry. Now, Kane, would you be willing to come back on for a part 2 interview, answering some fan questions? I'm sure there'll be fan questions.
Sure, at some point in the future, why not?
Yeah, sometime in the future. Yeah, if you're down, it'd be cool. Like people are like, oh my god, I got a question for Kane. I'll be like, Jason loves Jason. I don't know, something some username asks, and then the question.
Yeah, we can do that at some point in the future, Joe. No problem.
Awesome. Thank you. Also, before I ask, I saw the con you mentioned early on, just so for people to know too. Danny Trejo, you talking about? Is he with the con? That's the con. I mean, you forgot the name.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. I've worked with him before, but it's too many times falling on my head, Joe.
You're fine.
It does happen.
You're fine. I'm trying to help you out, because that would drove me crazy. Like, who is he talking about? And then I was doing research.
Yeah, that's who it is. Of course, myself and Danny Trejo in Mexico City for Halloween. That would be amazing.
That's a cool way to spend your Halloween.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Now, before asking my last question, Kane, do you have any questions?
Nobody ever asked me that, Joe. That's a very, very interesting question. I don't at this time, but I know because we know each other pretty well, I could ask you pretty much anything. So, and I have in the past, but not at this time. No questions for you.
I fear make you included, because you're really cool. You're a really nice guy, Kane. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to promote, Kane, that could help promote and shout that could help link down below in the video description and then help you out?
We've talked about pretty much everything.
Okay.
I guess it would never hurt if fans send in messages to the producers to have me come back and wear that hockey mask again.
Hashtag bring Kane back.
That's right. So what's your last question, Joe?
That is actually the last question. Like,
Okay.
is there want me to link down your Twitter page? Can we do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't tweet very much, and there's a fake Instagram page that I get all these friends and stuff that said, I sent you an Instagram message and you never responded. And I'm like, well, because it's not me.
So that's not you, Kane Hodder Kills? That's not you?
I don't remember which one my real one is, but one of them's real, the other one is not.
Beware, people with the fake accounts. Beware. I don't get why people like pretend they're other people,
Yeah, I'd suggest not pissing me off.
Yeah, because he's Jason. He'll come after your ass. Yeah. Well, thank you, and Kane, for being an awesome, amazing guest. I had a fun time chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and it was a pleasure once again, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll do it again in the future.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome, and you stay awesome, Kane. Yeah.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, everyone, for listening, and watch your backs.
And happy Halloween, too,
Happy Halloween.